Hello everyone. We're going to start working on the internals of this build, putting the Mesus axles in and putting the battery relocation tray in. First we got to take off this body, so we're going to unplug the lights. Next we're going to start by taking the mount off of the frame. There's 2 screws. I found it easier to just take the whole mount off. That way you're not trying to hold the body up and put screws in at the same time, where the mount just snaps in and then you can put the screws in. You're not trying to balance the body on one hand and screw it in with the other. So we're going to take both those screws out. And then the body is just going to come right off. We're going to set that to the side. Next, we're going to take the battery out so we can take the battery tray out. And unplug the battery. We're going to take the battery tray out. There's 4 screws that hold the battery tray in. We're going to go ahead and grab all 4 of those, and then the battery tray will come right out. Next, we're going to unplug the ESC, and we're going to take the ESC tray out. We're going to start undoing the shocks in the front so we can drop that front axle. Finish unplugging the ESC and take that out of the way. Next, we're going to flip it over and we're going to start removing the links so that axle will come right out. Those screws are pretty long, the links, so it takes a second to unscrew them. Forgot 1 screw, so we're going to grab that. And that front axle is going to come right out. And we're going to get the new one lined up. We're going to go ahead and pre-install the links on it before we put it into the chassis. And the screws that came with the links are too long for the servo that I have. So I had to get different screws that I had laying around, well, in my kit, smaller ones, so they would go all the way in. You can see how long it is. And we're going to go ahead and take the drive shaft out. Put the new drive shaft in. These drive shafts are from Mofo. You can see they have the D insert in them. The ones they sell on Amazon now are just round on the inside. They don't have that little D insert. So I got these from Mofo because he has those in the right size, number one, because the Forerunner takes a smaller size drive shaft than goes in the JLU or the Deadbolt or any of the other trucks, the C10. It takes a completely different size drive shaft, and the only place I could find it was Mofo. So we're gonna go ahead and install the front axle now that we got the links in. The hardest part is lining up the drive shaft. That takes a minute to line up. Next, we're gonna go ahead and start putting together the battery tray. It came with 5 pieces, the 4 corners, and then the battery tray itself. You have to put the corners of the mounts on. And it's just 1 screw to put the mounts on, so it's not too difficult. Now we got the battery tray all together. We're gonna go ahead and put it into the chassis and mount it. And screw it in. The stock battery is not real heavy, but the 3S battery I'm going to run is pretty heavy. So it's definitely going to add some weight up front. Now we're just going to finish screwing it in. Next, we're going to go ahead and put the tires back on the front. And then we're going to start installing the rear axle. And it's all back together. Next, we're going to take the battery tray and we're going to cut the end of it off because we don't need it anymore. I'm putting the plug-and-play FuriTech brushless system in this vehicle, so having that extra battery tray would just cover the motor, and I don't want to do that. And you only need a little space for the ESC. So we're going to mount the battery tray back into the chassis. It's just 4 screws. Next, we're going to fish the wire out from the servo, which I should have done before I put the battery tray in, but we're going to run that wire underneath the battery tray. It's plenty long enough to reach the ESC, so that's not a problem. You can see how long the wire is. Next, we need to separate the ESC from the ESC tray. size it up. See how everything's going to fit together. This is just temporary because the FURITEC plug-and-play system comes with a new ESC, so this ESC will be taken out and I'll put it in another truck. So I'm just going to put a little double-sided tape on there, nothing extravagant, just a temporary to hold it down. Now we're going to start plugging the servo into the ESC. There is a problem with the front bumper lights. They have a very short lead to them. So we're going to take the servo extension wire and use that to plug the front headlights into, or the front bumper lights into the ESC. Now we're going to put the battery in and just test everything out, make sure the lights come on, make sure we can steer, make sure everything's put together properly. Yeah, the front headlights are on. Now we're going to try the front steering. That works perfectly. So we're going to shut it back off and put the battery in and start cleaning everything up. You can see the battery wire is too short really to reach the ESC. So we're going to have to make an extension wire. I've got some wire laying around, some plugs, male and female, and I'm just going to build a little jumper wire for the battery. Making sure I use heavier gauge wire for this. This is just temporary. We're going to be running 3S power, so I'll have to build another wire for the 3S system once the FURITEC ESC and motor gets here. So this will just be temporary until that happens. We're going to go ahead and plug it in, make sure everything works still, lights are on. Yep, everything's fine. So we're going to put the battery strap on, the battery tray to hold the battery in. We'll see how that does. I might go with Velcro across there, but it's, you know, an open space. It's got some open areas underneath, so I'm not quite sure how the Velcro will stay on or not. So we'll use a strap for right now. We're just going to tidy up these wires using zip ties. And it's done. This is what the bottom looks like with the new eye clearance links, the Mesus axles. I definitely like the blue. And the inside, you can see the ESC is mounted in the back now. The battery's up front for more weight. And all the wires are tidied up with zip ties. And you can see those axles have a 5mm offset. The rims have another 3m offset. So it's 8mm altogether offset. It definitely makes the stance much wider, makes it look more aggressive. And I can't wait for the engine to get here and then to get it out on the rocks and see how it does. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.